What if instead of shoveling snow, plowing it, or even salting it, you strapped a flamethrower to the front of your car and tried to melt your way through winter? Imagine the absurd sight of cars crawling down icy highways, spitting fire across the road like medieval dragons, leaving behind sizzling asphalt and clouds of steam. At first glance, it sounds wild but strangely possible. After all, snow is just frozen water. Heat it up and it goes away, right? But the deeper you think, the stranger it gets. Snow is not a simple enemy. It is stubborn, dense, and requires massive energy to disappear. Let's slow down and picture it. You wake up in Boston during one of those infamous winters when the city disappears under mountains of snow. Roofs collapsing, trains shut down, and cars buried like fossils under white hills. Now imagine, instead of waiting for plows, you fire up your car, switch on the flamethrower, and blaze a 9-foot wide path through a foot of snow. The hiss, the roar, the melting chaos. For a few seconds it feels powerful, but then physics quietly taps you on the shoulder. Melting 1 gram of snow takes 335 joules of energy. That's the price nature demands. A simple 60-watt light bulb could technically melt snow, but only a pound of it in an entire hour. Scale that up to a snowy highway, and you need 574 megawatts of power, roughly 3 nuclear aircraft carriers just to keep your lane clear while driving at 55 miles per hour. Suddenly, your fiery dream looks less like freedom and more like an energy nightmare. But maybe the flamethrower still feels better than other options. Someone might say, why not microwaves? They're efficient, they heat water perfectly. Except they don't. Microwaves are great at warming liquid, but they barely touch solid ice. That's why defrosting frozen food leaves half of it still rock hard. Snow laughs at microwaves. Infrared heat lamps? Lasers? All clever but still shackled by the same brutal math. Snow is energy hungry. Fire, for all its fury, runs into another wall. Even with gasoline's incredible #meta, pause, Nisex 0.05, and maybe this isn't just about snow. How often do we try to brute force our problems with fire, speed, or energy when the wiser move is to shift our perspective? You can't always burn your way through life's drifts. Sometimes you have to move things aside, patiently, consistently, even if it feels less dramatic. The irony is that the quieter method often works better than the spectacular one. So what can you do in the next 24 hours? Think of one place in your life where you've been trying to melt the snow with fire, pouring energy, force, or anger into something that refuses to budge. Then pause. Ask yourself, what would it look like if I simply moved it aside instead? If you agree, comment with a 1. If you think fire still wins, drop a 0. And if this made you smile, consider subscribing. Because here's the takeaway. Sometimes the strongest flame is knowing when not to burn,